cable's achievements thus far.
Cable, we believe, is an unregulated monopoly, which Congress should act to restrain. Consumers too often have no choice but to pay the price and tolerate bad service because there is no practical alternative to subscribing to cable. We do not believe that the current situation and the current state of the law reflects the intent of Congress in enacting the Cable Act.
Crawford also criticized the FCC for misusing its discretion in regulating cable signal quality and cable service prices. Crawford also called for immunity to communities for monetary damages for alleged First Amendment violations by would-be cable operators. Amos Hostetter, CEO of Continental Cablevision, said cable operators forcing the First Amendment issue represent a radical fringe within the industry, and he took a shot at explaining cable rate increases.
What we are seeing nationally is a readjustment of cable rates to better reflect the value of different services. It's important to keep in mind that pay cable rates have been deregulated since 1972. Because a portion of each subscriber bill was subject to rate regulation and a portion was not, an artificial situation was created whereby the rate burden was shifted to pay TV subscribers. With basic rate deregulation in 1986, operators have been able to assign market value to their service offerings, resulting in basic increases and pay TV decreases. Since most subscribers take a mix of basic and pay services, the most appropriate way to analyze rate increases is to look at the overall impact of any rate increase on the average subscriber over the period of time since the last adjustment.
Although the National Cable Television Association submitted an 89-page study on the Cable Act and basic rate increases, those figures didn't jibe with those provided by others. Chairman Markey questioned NCTA President James Mooney on the reason for the discrepancy.
Can I just then, at this point, interject what my understanding is of your methodology and give you a chance to comment on it. My understanding is that NCTA survey was voluntary and that fully 77% of cable operators did not respond, and that of the respondents, it only covered 8% of the cable households in the country. Is it possible that the cable companies with the most dramatic rate increases, such as those that members of this subcommittee and members of Congress have received complaints about, chose not to respond to the NCTA study, and as a result, your survey is not representative of the problems of the country as a whole?
I've heard that suggestion made. I've heard it said that that the NCTA respondents were self-selecting, but I frankly think that that is an observation that has been made by people who want to disagree with us whatever we say. Our study comports with the demographic profile of the industry so far as penetration goes, so far as number of channels goes, so far as virtually every indices that is commonly used to describe characteristics of cable systems. And I don't think, frankly, that criticism is well-founded.
Would you support the type of comprehensive GAO study that I mentioned today, so that we might have an impartial...
Yeah, we'd be happy to see it. Yeah.
The second hearing on the Cable Act of 1984 is tentatively scheduled for May 11th and will examine programming issues with witnesses from broadcast, cable, and Hollywood. The third and final hearing will focus on competitive and First Amendment issues. It is this hearing that Congressman Al Swift is most interested in.
I continue to be very concerned about the way satellite industry is being treated by the cable industry. I've got this week a dealer in satellite equipment called me, and he's trying to be honest. He's trying to sell these decoding devices. He can't sell them because of the broad availability of the pirate devices that are there, by being sold by less honest businessmen than he is. And he couldn't even get an answer back from General Instruments. He's got one now, but I don't think congressional offices should be used as call forwarders. So I look forward to that third hearing, and the sooner the better, and I hope we can pass legislation this year.
We're looking forward to that hearing as well. We'll be back after these words. Stay tuned.
Attention satellite dealers, this product could save your business. Satellite dealers only are being offered the opportunity of a lifetime to become StarVision Custom Spa dealers. StarVision Custom Spas are perfect to sell in conjunction with the satellite system or to rent out along with a dish for a spa satellite party. StarVision, also a satellite dealership, is the only company that custom manufactures complete self-contained spas. All you do is fill them up and plug them in. Exclusive distribution territories are now being offered only to satellite dealers. Products include everything from jetted bathtubs for motels to 14 to 21-foot swim spas for sale to health clubs and gyms. This product has saved dozens of satellite dealerships and has boosted the sales of many others. Contact Network Productions for more information at 201-562-0080 or contact StarVision of Virginia at 804-714-1714.
Major League Baseball is seriously considering launching its own 24-hour cable network in time for the 1990 season. It's reported that the network would be a basic cable service that would broadcast tape-delayed games for late-night airing and Winter League games in addition to the live regular season coverage. If a particular day's baseball schedule is light, rebroadcasts of World Series and pennant races may be shown. The 24-hour cable network is said to be strongly supported by Chicago White Sox owner Eddie Einhorn and Philadelphia Phillies owner Bill Giles. Putting together a cable network may prove to be a warm-up for Major League Baseball's goal to eventually get into the direct broadcast satellite business. Disney will be in the clear for a couple of days. What's the occasion? Karen tells us.
Disney celebrates a 5-year anniversary with an In the Clear 2-day special offering Disney program on Galaxy 1, Channel 4, and on Channel 24. Disney encrypted its 2 satellite feeds 2 months ago, but on June 4th and on June 5th, even if video cipher 2s are turned off, the Disney Channel will remain on. Request TV, a pay-per-view movie service relayed via Galaxy 1, is launching a second channel on July 1st on Satcom 3R. The second channel is called Request 2, and it will offer the same kind of first-run movies as its sister network on Galaxy 1. On Galaxy 1 Transponder 12, movies will air at 7, 9, 11, and 1. On the Satcom 3R feed, Request 2 will show movies at 6, 8, and 10. No news yet on how dish owners will be able to, or if they will be able to subscribe to these services, but both are encrypted with the video cipher 2. Request 1 was expected to be marketed to dish owners through the NRTC package, but so far, dish owners have not been able to legally sign on to that service. KU is fast becoming the relay port for satellite news gathering activity, and most of these feeds are not scrambled. Dish owners upgrading to KU can find a great deal of backhaul news feeds, some coming from the ABC network. In a recent deal between ABC and GTE SpaceNet, ABC signed on for transponder space on G-Star 2 and 1 transponder on SpaceNet 1 for satellite news gathering and voice communications. Most of the relays for that news service will occur between 4 p.m. and 2 a.m. Eastern Time.
The British Satellite Broadcasting Company is shopping for an independent producer for a news show to be aired on the direct broadcast satellite system. BSB was negotiating with independent television news, but those talks folded because ITN wanted to withhold certain news programs that were commissioned by independent member stations. ITN would release the programs after its affiliates enjoyed first-run privileges. BSB didn't go for the proposal, saying holding back the programs, which amount to $25 per month, would make their news service uncompetitive. Last week, we ran a short feature on personal investing from the Investment Company Institute. The jury is still out as to whether or not you people enjoy that, so we're going to run it again, and hopefully we'll get a little more feedback and see if this type of information helps you in personal investment and financial matters. Here it is.
Money. Making it is important, but investing it and watching it grow may be even more important. The key to making investments is knowing about risks and rewards. Ann Anderson of the Investment Company Institute.
With any kind of investment, the greater the amount of risk you're willing to assume or can tolerate, the greater the potential return that you could earn on that investment.
Investing in bonds or bond mutual funds comprised of many bonds is relatively low risk compared to many other forms of investing. Historically, bond interest has been paid, and if the bond is held to maturity, so is the principal. Here's a quick summary of the most popular bond funds. Municipals. American cities and states need money to build public transportation, schools, and highways. Investors are rewarded with steady and, in many cases, tax-free income. Government income. The Treasury issues bonds to cover the costs of government operations. Corporate bonds. Corporations, big and small, need money to finance construction and expansion. Ginnie Mae's. Housing mortgages backed by the government provide income to investors in these funds. With this type of fund, both interest and principal are repaid over the term of the bond. Investor Faye Dworkin.
What I really like about bond funds is that I can reinvest my dividends and ride out the fluctuations in interest rates. And with Ginnie Mae's, the fund manager can reinvest my capital, too.
Bond fund managers are experts in choosing investment strategy, but investors must know what they want, both in terms of the rewards and the risks. Jack Reynolds, Washington, D.C.
Well, we hope you let us know whether features of that sort interest you or don't. Either way, we'd like to hear your comments. Still ahead on Boresight, a Chipgate update. Don't go away.
Are you tired of listening to buzzwords and not knowing what they mean? What does VSAT mean? And what is this new one, business television? Hey, you can find out. You can go to these courses. They take weeks and cost thousands of dollars. That's what we've done. Or you can save a whole bunch of money because you have a satellite dish, you're a satellite dealer, you already know many of the terms and what they mean. But maybe you don't know some of the unique ways you can make money with it. Maybe you don't know all the things that are needed from you to make the installation. How do you do the roof mounts? What is required? How do you do all the settings? What do you do when you bid for a VSAT job? And what do you do for business television? You can sell business television. There's a great opportunity out there. But more importantly, there are many people out there seeking to find installers to do VSAT installations. A few business TVs. Business television is projected to do well over 100,000 units in the next year because of the dynamic growth of that industry. Are you going to be able to address that growth? Are you going to be able to do those installations? The people want certain things from you, and you can give it to them now because it's going to be a VSAT business television seminar. Yes, yes, and you don't have to bother even leaving your office because we're going to do it live via satellite. Yes, we told you that there's going to be opportunities to use that wire decoder other than with Yellow Rain. Well, you can, because now there are going to be 2 seminars held live via satellite in the 1st of May, allowing you to use your wire decoder. The first seminar is business television and VSAT. It's a one-day seminar. It's $189 if you do not have the wire decoder. That $189 is $100 for the course and $89 for the wire decoder. That's a 5-year lease on that decoder, folks. So for $189, you get a full one-day seminar with course book, with everything you need. And you can come in and live via telephone and ask questions of the guests that will be there telling you what's going on with VSAT and how you can address that market and how and what you need to know about business television. It's going to be a full 10 hours. 10 hours, you can tape it, but it's going to be full of information you need to know. Now, what's the second day? The second day, well, you should ask. Well, we did. We thought about what else dealers really need to know. Well, we all know about SMATV, but do we really know? There's a lot of money in SMATV. Big marketplace right now. Are we addressing it? Well, maybe we're not addressing it because we don't know everything we need to know about it. Now you can. The second day is a SMATV course. If you just want to take it, it's $189. That includes the 5-year lease on the wire decoder. If you want both courses would be $289. But if you register now, you can save yourself a good $50. Yes, indeed. $239 if you register now. That includes the wire decoder with a full 5 years. You never have to rent it again or lease it again, and both courses with course books. Now, if you already have a wire decoder, hey, take $89 off. And if you went to the seminar back in September of '86, the VSAT seminar, take $40 more off because we never sent you that videotape. So, there you go. Go for it.
It seems like a long way off, but bidding for the broadcast rights for the 1992 Winter Olympics will take place in New York City late next month. But bidding will be limited to the 3 major networks only. This means that it'll be up to one of the networks to decide whether cable rights will be part of the package. According to a report in electronic media, the Olympic Charter prohibits a direct cable bid for the rights because of that medium's limited distribution in the United States. The trade magazine also quotes TV consultant for the Albertville, France Olympic Organizing Committee as saying, even if ESPN offered $1 billion, it wouldn't win the rights. Robert Wussler, Senior Executive and Vice President of Turner Broadcasting, isn't so pessimistic. He predicts that some portion of the 1992 Winter Games will be carried on cable. Karen?
Fuji TV and Konus Communications used KU satellite SBS3 to transmit a live national Japanese broadcast from 5 separate locations throughout the United States. This occurred on April 8th. American correspondents reporting from New Orleans, Orlando, Boston, Minneapolis, and Washington, D.C. spoke directly to viewers all over Japan. Though the American correspondents spoke in English, there was a simultaneous translation of the language into Japan from the Japanese network in that country. Here's an update on General Instruments' lawsuit against network productions. 2 months ago, GI, Home Box Office, Showtime, and Maycom requested the court to rule in their favor by granting a summary judgment against Sean Kenny and Bob Cooper for violating both communications and copyright law. Initially, the judge ruled on the plaintiff's behalf because Kenny had not responded to the summary judgment and had not stated his side to the story. Well, since that time, Kenny's attorney was successful in having the summary judgment vacated. Kenny filed his side to the story, and now both sides wait. Kenny, who is being charged with violating the Communications Act for his part in providing information about certain descrambling devices, is also charged with violations stemming from the sale of the Bag of Parts video-only parts kit. Kenny's defenses involve these 3 points. First, the Bag of Parts product, along with the blank box solution plans, were available and marketed prior to the release of the video cipher. The argument claims that Maycom knew they selected a scrambling format, which was already used in other test devices. Kenny's defense against violation of the Communications Act claims that no law has been broken because the Bag of Parts device unscrambled video only. Because the audio was left intact, the actual feed remained encrypted. Thirdly, Kenny claims copyright had not been violated by any of the chip products discussed by him because when a consumer buys the video cipher 2, he has in fact bought the rights to the copyright and has the prerogative to change the software if he so chooses. If the judge rules to grant the summary judgment, Kenny's attorney says that appeal will be in order. If the court denies it, the case will go to trial.
Thanks, Karen. The Writers Guild of America strike has taken its toll on the movie and TV industry. It's reported that the 8-week-old strike has cost those industries almost $16 million in lost salaries and benefits, while seriously affecting the production schedules of both broadcast and cable programmers. Negotiations broke off last week after 20 minutes, with no other meetings scheduled at this time. It's reported that if the strike continues into the summer, the 3 broadcast networks' fall preview season may not begin until the end of October or early November. Still ahead on Boresight News, the status of the satellite home viewer copyright bill and the first annual Eastern Satellite Exposition. Stay tuned.
Attention satellite dealers, this product could save your business. Satellite dealers only are being offered the opportunity of a lifetime to become StarVision Custom Spa dealers. StarVision Custom Spas are perfect to sell in conjunction with the satellite system or to rent out along with a dish for a spa satellite party. StarVision, also a satellite dealership, is the only company that custom manufactures complete self-contained spas. All you do is fill them up and plug them in. Exclusive distribution territories are now being offered only to satellite dealers. Products include everything from jetted bathtubs for motels to 14 to 21-foot swim spas for sale to health clubs and gyms. This product has saved dozens of satellite dealerships and has boosted the sales of many others. Contact Network Productions for more information at 201-562-0080 or contact StarVision of Virginia at 804-714-1714.
I'm Lee for Rehab Austin Corporate.
Once again, the markup hearing on Congressman Robert Kastenmeier's satellite home viewer copyright bill, H.R. 2848, has been postponed. A spokesperson with Kastenmeier's office blamed the postponement in part on the recent death of Congressman Melvin Price of Illinois. In any event, the markup has been rescheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. C-SPAN hadn't decided whether or not they would cover the hearing before our deadline, but there is still a possibility you could catch it on C-SPAN at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. C-SPAN is found on Galaxy 3, transponder 24. Black Entertainment Television President Robert L. Johnson is expected to announce a 1989 subscription price increase at the upcoming National Cable Television Association convention. It's reported that the rate increase is needed to allow BET to develop more original programming and to begin construction on a new $10 million production facility, which is expected to be operational by January 1989. The American Home Satellite Association is beginning to pick up some members. Karen has the story.
The American Home Satellite Association has opened its doors to dish owners for a $36 annual fee. Katie Haas reports that TVR customers are beginning to join the new association, and 2 newsletters have already been distributed. AHSA plans to be a dish owner-only group with association goals aimed at providing technical and programming information. The group is headed by Hans Ganner, who was president of the Netherlands-based satellite receiver manufacturer Luxor. AHSA, along with Triple D Publishing and North America One, have plans to start a satellite industry trade show of their own. For more information about AHSA, you can call 1-800-541-5417. Now, in a bulletin from the Home Satellite TV Association, Chairman George Koshian announced the retailer dish owner group will hold its first Eastern Satellite Exposition on July 11th, 12th, and 13th. That will be at the Ramada Hotel on the north side of D.C. near Dulles Airport. The exposition will include seminars covering at least 6 subjects each day, and there will be displays by some industry manufacturers. 2 live unscrambled segments will be uplinked to the industry, and KSAT Radio will have live audio coverage of the entire event. More information on that exposition can be obtained by calling 614-824-3993. Mike, back to you.
Thanks, Karen. Speaking of the Eastern Satellite Exposition, HSTA Dealer Board Chairman George Koshin told Boresight that the seminar fees are in a fluid state at the moment, but projects that attending a single seminar will cost the dealer $20 and that the unit price will decrease if the dealer attends more seminars. For example, 3 seminars would cost $30, 6 would cost $50, and so on. Koshin says that although all contracts have not been signed, approximately 17 exhibitors are expected to participate in the exhibition. When we asked if this is to be considered the much ballyhooed dealer trade show, Koshin says we're not looking at this as a dealer trade show. We're following the definition of the word exhibition. Koshin added that the ultimate goal of the exhibition is for the dealer and consumer to come away from the show with more knowledge. Once again, if you'd like more information on the Eastern Satellite Exposition, call George Koshin at 614-824-3993. That about wraps it up for me. I'll see you next week. Karen will follow shortly to wrap up the show, and I believe next week we will begin broadcast from our new facility, which is currently under construction. It should be fun. I'll see you next week. Good night.
Thank you for watching tonight. Before we go, I want to relay a message to a gentleman by the name of Harry Thibodeau, who broadcasts on the SPCA Information Network on North America 1 every night, and he's listened to by a lot of dish owners, just like a lot of dish owners watch Boresight. I've never listened to Harry, but that's okay. Harry's never watched Boresight. But Harry talks about Boresight, so I figure I can talk about Harry. Maybe sometime the two of us can get together and we can really watch it and listen to what each other has to say live instead of getting it through the satellite network, which is you people out there. What I have to say to you, Harry, and I hope somebody relays to you my point here, you apparently have gone over your network and said that the reason why dish owners have to pay the price that they have to pay for programming is because it's more expensive to bill one customer than it is to bill a cable company who has a whole slew of customers. The economics are there. Well, it makes sense in theory, Harry, and I normally would agree with you, except there have been 3 events that I can point out just off the top of my head that kind of show that the pricing is still too high, whether or not the billing situation works out like that or not. And here are those three items. First off, in the congressional hearings, it was pointed out that HBO was allowing a rebate be paid to cable operators anytime a dish owner signed up for its service. $5 for every $12.95 went to the cable operator, whether or not that cable operator had anything to do with why a dish owner was signing up for HBO. Congress looked at that and didn't like it, thought that it might violate antitrust laws, so HBO retracted it. Okay, no more $5 rebate to the cable operator, but where did the $5 go? It didn't go back to the consumer. You didn't see the $12.95 price decrease by $5, no. HBO put the $5 in their pocket. Now, if that $5 was available, billing concerns aside and all, to go to the operator, it could have been available to decrease the price, but because there's no competition, why decrease the price? Make the profit. A second reason is, and this was also pointed out in both Senate and House hearings, when NRTC, when Amway, when other companies have approached programmers saying, I will give you, like a cable operator promises, a certain amount of subscribers. I will promise 500,000 subscribers. I want a bulk rate. I want a bulk discount rate. Instead of charging them, the discounter, the same price that HBO would charge a cable operator, HBO charged 800 to 1,000% higher, 8 times higher in price, which means, of course, that the consumer is going to get a price 8 times higher. It doesn't work out that way. Here you were offering the same kind of a situation, not a one billing situation, but you were offering a situation where a national distributor would promise 200,000 subscribers. It's the same thing. Third, there was a cable operator, Mountain Pine Cable, in the Midwest someplace, who when HBO first scrambled, they offered the HBO package to dish owners for $6.95. It was a very small system. They paid top dollar for HBO. They paid $4.50. So they figured they could still make a profit on an individual basis, billing dish owners $6.95, which is a market difference from the $12.95 monthly fee. HBO, of course, caught wind of that and told them they couldn't do it. But it shows that it's possible. That if you can resell that service for $4.50 and that operator can turn around and sell it on an individual basis for $6.95 and the profit and incentive is still there to do it, then the pricing would be low. But the pricing is high because the marketplace is being manipulated, and we all know that. So, Harry, if you have a response back, you can call me or send it through somebody else to call me, and maybe sometime we can get together and discuss this in person. You can come on my show, I can go on your show, and we can really talk about some of these points that we have that might be in opposition to each other. Because after all, we both know that we're both for the satellite industry, so let's get together on this. Thanks. Good night. See you next week. Don't forget, stay tuned for Green Sheet coming up, and I think there's Yellow Rain, which follows Green Sheet. I'm not exactly sure where Yellow Rain airs these days, but stay tuned, and I'm sure you'll see something following Green Sheet. Good night.
Electronic Specialists has developed a three-faceted audio-video protection system. Coupled with a high-speed, high-energy spike surge suppressor and wide-band RF interference filter is a power-fail interrupt protective feature. Designed to disconnect AC power to protect audio-video equipment for even momentary power line disruptions, the power-fail interrupt protects the equipment from wild, damaging power gyrations which usually accompany AC power disruptions. Power is restored via a front panel manual reset switch. The ISO 2X PFI Isolator Power Fail Interrupt with 39,000 surge amp suppression capability will protect up to 6 valuable audio-video pieces of equipment. Available from Electronic Specialists for only $199.95, it comes with a 5-year warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call right now, toll-free, 1-800-225-4876 to place your order or to call for a free catalog. Tell them you saw it here on Boresight.
Well, I want to thank everyone that has helped Karen with her legal defense. Karen, as you well know, or if you don't know, you're going to know right now, is being sued along with those of us here at Network Productions, at least me and Network Productions, and Bob Cooper, for basically reporting to you about the break of the video cipher. GI and HBO and Showtime do not want you to know the video cipher is broken and has elected to sue us because we're obviously the people that are telling you about it. Well, they've separated our case, and Karen is no longer really part of the case with Bob Cooper and Network Productions. And Karen goes to trial on May 9th, and she must defend herself. The defense is going to be very expensive, and fortunately for her, you have contributed somewhat. But I must tell you, it isn't nearly enough, and you really have to think about whether or not you want to hear the news and hear the truth. Because once GI and Showtime are able to shut somebody like Karen up through their ability to manipulate the court system because they have the money and Karen doesn't. Once that occurs, you will no longer get free press. You'll no longer get honest press. Because they'll know, anybody else that follows in Karen's footsteps will understand that if they report the truth about the break of the video cipher or some other situation, that they will be sued. And they won't be able to defend themselves. And they will lose. And they will not just lose in a court of law saying, you lost, they'll lose money. Because part of what GI is claiming is they want money. And it's a sad situation that we have, and I've commented on it a number of times, and I hate to bore you with more comments about the same subject, but it is a tragedy in our system that corporations can sue an individual for incredible amounts of money, and if you don't have the money to defend yourself, they automatically win. Now, you might say, well, what happens if you don't have the money? You don't have to bother paying them. Well, Karen owns a house. She owns a piece of property. They can take her house away just so that she can tell you the news. Now, she could have said, the hell with this, and stopped reporting the news. She's capable. She could have gone to work for other people. She had no problem getting another job. When she went to Atlanta, she could have walked away from this situation, but her heart was in this situation. Her heart was into telling you the truth. Her heart is in this business. And your heart should be with her. And so, unfortunately, should be your pocketbook right now. Because you need to get the truth. You need to understand what's going on. And more importantly, you need to show GI and HBO and Showtime that they can't walk over people just because of their money. Just because it's an incredible amount of money, why do they have the right to walk over somebody like that? And ask yourself, if that were you, would you want to be defended? Would you want to have possibly lose your home just because you told somebody the truth? Karen's not made a nickel on scrambling. This whole issue is really disturbing to me because people tend to find us guilty even though we've not been tried. It's a civil matter, and it's totally affected our business here. And manufacturers and distributors say, we're obviously involved with piracy because we talk about it. I grant you some of the things I do would make one think I am involved with piracy. And we'll talk about that further in Yellow Rain, but certainly Boresight and Karen Howes were never involved with it. They only reported to you about it. And to find this organization guilty for telling you the truth, or that organization guilty for telling you the truth, is just, it doesn't make sense. Why is it that Boresight is guilty of telling you the truth about scrambling, and when people like Taylor Howard are charged with possibly stealing someone's patent, that no one mentions it? When a United Video conceivably could be selling you a product that you shouldn't be receiving, because he really does not have the right to sell you that product. Why is he not stealing that product and selling it to you? I mean, the law does not say that United Video or Eastern Microwave or any of these people have the right to sell the backyard earth station market programming. It's not written in. It's possible they could be taken to court. But no, we're guilty and they're all innocent until proven guilty. As a matter of fact, that's the reason I bring that up is because I just heard Jack Rowley the other day say that. You're innocent in this country until proven guilty. Well, Jack, I should ask you to come look at this operation and tell me about that. That's far from the truth. You don't know this system very well at all. In this country, particularly when you're a little guy, you're guilty until proven innocent. And I must remind everyone out there that how guilty could we be if still there are no federal charges placed against us? It's strictly a civil matter. And it strictly has been a situation of their money being more than our money. But why should it be? We have 2 million of you out there. If only you sent $1 each in, we would have enough money to defend ourselves and more. I ask you to think about that. I ask you to recognize the fact that that's what Karen did. She told you the truth. And if you were Karen, would you like to lose your home for telling the truth? For wanting to give you the honest information of the satellite industry? Please, if you're going to send money to her, make it Karen Howes, LDF. And I guess that would be the best place to send it right now. Visa, MasterCards, of course, are accepted. Stay tuned for Yellow Rain. Well, hello there. You know, I heard, and I keep on hearing, how many boxes General Instruments has turned off. I find it amazing. I don't know of anybody that's been turned off. And you programmers out there that continue to believe that GI has the ability to turn off all these boxes. Well, I ask you to put them to the test. I ask you to, on Harry Thibodeau's channel, North America 1, you have that ability to get out to all those people. Ask all the people that have been turned off to please call in and ring the phone once and count your rings. Do it on your own Barker channel. Has your video cipher been turned off and not been turned back on? See how many people call. Then ask how many of you have illegal chips and have not been turned off or are still working or been turned off and turned back on, whatever, as long as if it's still working. Then see how many times your phone rings. I tell you something else, Mr. Programmer, what you ought to do. You ought to go down to Puerto Rico and interview the people that used to work on the assembly line, or still do work on the assembly line. You will be amazed to see how many video ciphers have been made. Simply amazed. That 1.4 million figure, well, it's a little bit higher than that. Go check it out, Mr. Programmer, because at least I'm talking to over 1 million of you people that are pirating the signal, because less than 400,000 of these things are authorized. So there's 1 million of you out there that I can relate to, because you understand the power of free choice. I don't understand why the programmers feel that we are all breaking the law and they're not. I don't understand why they don't decide that it might be better to sit down and to talk to us about the situation. Why is it that the programmers have taken this attitude that the pirate is a thief, I can hear you back to saying he is, and doesn't deserve an opportunity to be talked to? Well, in every war, and that's what this is, don't you understand that, Mr. Programmer? This is a war. So many of the people out there that are stealing programming want to pay. They just want to pay fairly. All you have to do is negotiate. If you talk to the pirates and try to understand where they come from and what they want and what they need, maybe you could all coexist. But trying to get all us pirates arrested is not going to do it. Now, I've used myself in that category. I don't actually steal programming. However, I'm accused of taking money from some of you pirates out there. I do take money from some of you people. Those people that advertise those seed key pullers, you better believe I take money from them. Good money. This show has cost me plenty. Trying to